Yes.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm very well today. How are you doing
Nice
today?
coffee, thank you.
Yeah,
Very
nice
good.
coffee. Welcome everyone. This is podcast number 1.
Yes.
How are we feeling about this?
First, amazing. I'm very excited because we've got so much to share with you guys. It's exciting and it's amazing, and I just can't wait.
We do. We've been thinking about this for a long time. This is actually Barefoot Living day number 4. Day 1 was last Thursday, at the very start of after the children went back to school.
Yeah, and we've got 10th of September 2024 right now. So September is the month I start.
Exactly, and it's really exciting. We've been thinking about this for probably 2 years and 6 months, which is as long as we've known each other.
We've been talking about it. We've been planning it, we've been doing everything but actually recording and getting out there and spreading the word and doing what we really want to do, which is to talk to you guys.
Yeah, so basically where we're coming from is we've had careers and past jobs and roles in a number of different areas. We've always been fascinated with self-development and education. And we've never really found anywhere, have we, that has provided a sort of single source of these, different facets of self-development.
Because there is a lot of self-development out there, but everyone is kind of focusing on certain elements, and I find there is the missing part is the wholeness, the holistic approach, right? When you go into one place and you got every bit covered, so like we call it a wheel of life, a game of life, we can call it like that as well. And what's included in it is few parts, a few areas of our life, right? Which then we will like to go in depth and discuss with you guys and help you navigate it and build it and design it, build it, execute it, live it, and then scale it and elevate it, right?
Yeah, and it's really exciting because I think when I look at Illa and I, with the skill sets that we have, I'm coming from off the back of a decades long career in finance. So I've read a gazillion finance self-help books over my career, but I've never seen a book that marries up, finance development and personal finance development, or even economic awareness, marries that up with relationship improvement or self-worth improvement or even, well-being. And I think that's where we think we've got an opportunity with this Barefoot Living initiative, the Academy, and the online education course that we're going to be launching soon and offering, is having a one-stop shop and being experts ourselves in all of these different areas in the wheel of life, as you call it.
Yes, the wheel of life. So the whole circle of what is included in the totality and of life. And so I think it's good to say I am Ulla. This is James.
I'm James, and you may well be able to see Tess outside.
Tess, our dog, She's about 1 year old, almost. And we're coming with Barefoot Living Academy. So the one place that you can come and improve an area and every area of your life. Come and learn the amazing tools, amazing tactics, amazing maybe awakening and moments of the truth that maybe you didn't consider, that because we do both believe, after struggling for quite so many years, that there is a roadmap to good life. We call it life lived well, right? And to live life well, we've got to follow certain laws and center certain principles, values, which if we do it right, then we end up in destinations that are just beautiful, and the destinations that we want to end up at, right? Rather than in some dead-end corners from which we need to dig ourselves out and deep holes, right? We both experienced that. I've been in a very, very deep, dark period of time when it took me a long time to dig myself out. But I did. And then I've learned all the golden nuggets, I've learned the lessons, and I'm able to translate them now and help you guys to navigate your life. And maybe my greater wish is so people don't have to go as deep down as I went. This is my compassion for me, for my past self, and this is my compassion for everyone in the world. I don't want people to experience what I did. I just want to give you guys this information that I find out and I've learned along the way in the process, so you don't have to go there, right? So you can start creating your life, designing it, building it, executing it, living it from the better place with the better tools, with a better understanding. I didn't have a right tools, right? I didn't have knowledge and information how to create a good life. I just went in a dark woods, and I didn't know what I was doing and why. And obviously, we follow some repetitive patterns from past, from what we learned in our home when we were growing up. It's not always healthy, it's not always good, and we go and repeat the cycles. And there is a way, definitely, that I 100% can put my both hands on. There is a way to create life amazing and beautiful.
Yeah, and sometimes our bad habits from one particular area will spill over into another area as well, and
Oh, yeah.
but that has the inverse as well. So if you can find the magic source to fix one or improve one area of your life, suddenly all other areas as well can have that same approach for them. So we've got this great initiative together with the Wheel of Life, with the 8 different facets of the Wheel of Life, from well-being to finance to spirituality and self-development,
Health
and fitness,
friendship, social life,
yeah,
self-development, self-growth,
yeah, and just to give
spirituality.
a bit of authenticity as well behind this, perhaps we were talking. Maybe we should introduce ourselves a little bit more with our background, because we want to, perhaps sort of through our own experiences, show that this works. I think between us we have some super experience of well-being, of health. So I'm a ultra athlete, a young 52-year-old, and still, at the peak performance of my fitness, not least thanks to the dog who's running around completely crazily outside. I'm a surfer, windsurfer, lover of anything outdoors, from mountains to sea to anything in between. Anila, you're pretty good on that as well, aren't you?
Yeah. So I'm a certified health coach, health and nutrition, holistic approach health coach. I used to be a fitness instructor. I'm a dancer as well. I love running. I run, I exercise, and I keep myself healthy and fit all my life pretty much. I've always been interested into all sorts of sports and hiking, running, dancing, yoga. I love yoga and stretching as well. It's amazing. So yeah, and we've got quite expertise in that.
Yeah, we do, and I think from a nutrition perspective, from a well-being perspective as well, we're sort of dedicated cooks, experimental health cooks, I suppose. And
We love our food, don't we?
we do love our
But we only
food.
like good quality food, nice one.
Good quality, fresh, organic food, and often, food from only the first 2 aisles of any supermarket.
Oh yeah, the real food part of shop, not the fake food part of shop. All packaged lovely and colorful, packaging, and
Yeah.
yeah. So this is like, when we talk about well-being, can I just say a couple of words? Well-being. So I've always been very, very healthy. Like, I eat healthy, I exercise, and I take care of myself, right? And I felt that's the way to well-being in life. However, I have fallen really, really ill. I had a period of 5 years when I was super, super sick, and even the eating healthy and exercising wasn't able to keep me healthy. So I find out that holistic approach to life, if we don't have good relationships, because that was mainly my problem in life, if we don't have good relationships, then our lives, our well-being suffers, right? If we don't have good finances around us that keep us, alive, that keep us thriving and living good lives, then our well-being can suffer as well.
Yeah.
If we don't have good friendships, connections, right? If we just don't have other areas of life properly built and run, then just eating healthy and exercising is not everything.
Yeah.
That's the holistic approach to life, because we stand for well-being and thriving. That's our point
Yeah.
of interest, right? We want to be well and we want to thrive in life, and that's what our aim is. That's where we are living today,
Yeah.
and that's our goal. We
Yeah.
want you to have that too.
We absolutely do, and we're absolutely committed to driving this, to igniting this spark in all of our clients, so that they can, they can design and execute, their best life as well, a little bit like the way that we have. So, I think perhaps let's talk about us for a little while, in terms of how we met, when we met, because I would say, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, which you often do, with permission. We met, with a thunderbolt, with a bolt of thunder, about 2.5 years ago. And I think we were both coming from some pretty dark places. We were both single parents. We both had, a fair share of trauma. We both were definitely not bringing our best selves to the table, not showing up as our best selves. And, perhaps a little bit like you said, I think when it comes to healing, self-healing, which, we've all got work to do, with the true safety and the true security in that healing, can only come from being held, from a position of love, and I'm very grateful to you for giving me that position. But that position of love, by the way, can come from self-love, and family love, and friendship love as well.
There's a saying that you can't heal relational trauma outside of relationship, basically. So if we were not held and loved properly in our childhood, which most of us didn't, because the rules were different, the awareness and was very different about how upbringing of the children. Now we're learning that there are better ways. If there was no loving presence in our life, in our childhood, then we generally don't feel safe, and we generally lack in this, and generally need to somehow fill that bucket later on in the life. Otherwise, we're running around literally begging for that to happen in our life. So yes, it can come in the form, it can come in the form of self-love. However, it will still need to be exercised in the relationship to others, and that's where usually most traumas come out. And that's why relationships are so difficult, because most traumas come when we come close with another person, another human being. That's where we're being challenged on those things that are in us unresolved. So having that amazing, beautiful space when people hold each other and help each other heal without judgment, but with love and presence, that's the beautiful spot. That's a beautiful part of relationship.
It is, and thank you very much for that, by the way. And guess what? The moment you can start seeing that and feeling that, being held with love, and healing that part of your love, that part of the wheel of life, then the other parts of the wheel of life will start improving as well. Your confidence around self-leadership will elevate. Perhaps your approach to your personal finances will therefore elevate, with your, sense of, relational well-being. And then with that, your social circle will improve. And then with that, your well-being and your sense of esteem and your self-worth, and so on and so on. And, I think we're going to talk about many sort of methods in our curriculum that we have. We're going to talk about, a lot of these metaphors and learnings that we have. But one of the key areas for us is to go back to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We've often talked about this, haven't we? And obviously, if you remind yourself of this triangle, right at the very bottom is the basic human need of food and shelter, and then you work your way up to the very top of the triangle, and the if you like, the top is self-actualization, self-realization, and self-actualization.
Yeah, so we're talking about building a ground floor, which is basically your fundament for your life. So when you've got ground floor properly built and taken care of, then you can start building a first floor and a second floor and a third floor. That's how I see it. For me, I couldn't move any higher upper level until I really created a solid ground that I can stand on. And our ground floor, that's what I call it, right? For me, because we between us, we have 3 children, right? We have 2 boys and a girl. They are 12, 14, 14. So for me, I value family. So for me, the ground floor was to have home in the right place and shape, just somewhere that everyone can come in and they know they're safe, that that's their home, that's their place, from where everyone then goes out and creates more in the life,
Yeah,
right? So for us, I think for you as well, because you big on family as well, it
yeah,
was important to when we merge our families together, when we moved in together, when we merged our families together, we created this beautiful, solid, stable home for everyone to rely on. And then from there, we were able to continue to elevate other
yeah,
areas of life, right? So when you're talking about the trauma and the healing as well, is when we heal a trauma, we become whole human being. We become whole inside, rather than we don't have this holes, these things, these parts of us are missing, or parts of us that have been sent away somewhere and they've been disowned and put very very deep down to not be looked at. And so when we heal this part of ourselves, we become a whole human being. And that's why, as you said, we can then the rest of our life just unfolds beautiful
mm,
and improves as a result.
yeah, yeah. And I still remember, I hope you don't mind me sharing this, that on our very first date, so the very first time I ever met you in real life, um,
That's fine.
you were talking about the foundation and building the foundation to then build the ground floor, to then build your way up in relationships. So, yeah,
Yeah.
that's been consistent over the last 2.5 years. I'm glad you mentioned family
Mm.
a little bit. Obviously, we live and breathe family with these three very high energy children, to say nothing of the dog as well.
She's also a
Um,
bit like them.
yeah, we will be covering, as part of our area of relationships. I mentioned we have 8 areas in this wheel of life, with a bonus ninth area, which we'll talk about in a minute. But one of the 8 areas is relationships, and obviously that includes children and family relationships. And I think we've both got a huge amount of learning and wisdom, and expertise around children, around the pressures that are on children, these days. But
The
learning from
pressures
our
that are on parents these days.
yeah, and learning from our own experiences with our own parents when we were growing up in very different times, with very different values as well, and how those values and how our upbringing subsequently impacted us, and perhaps some of the learnings and traumas that have been passed on to us by our parents that we need to be mindful when we approach our children, to make sure we bring the best out of them, and we selectively, intentionally pass on, those learnings or not to our children that we will put through
Yeah,
ourselves.
we're definitely passionate about all of these topics. So we covered well-being. There will be fitness and health, well-being. There will be relationships,
Mm,
romantic relationships, and parenting. Like I'm super passionate about both of those topics.
yeah,
I think these are my strengths. Spirituality is also my strength. Your strength is definitely the finance part and career, right?
yeah, sure.
Mm.
Yeah, and it's again, as we go around the wheel of life, you will see that we have the expertise and the experience, and perhaps as a couple in real life, not just as partnership with Barefoot Living, we've got that unique lens, if you like, where we've got this shared knowledge and shared wisdom in all of these areas of the wheel of life. I am absolutely passionate about elevating the financial well-being of humanity, because that can only lead to good things. It leads to more kindness.
Thriving.
Yeah, it
The
leads
word that
to
comes to me
more
is
thriving.
thriving. But
Yeah,
thriving is that as well, right? We need to take care of ourselves financially. We need to start being self-responsible in all these ways. Like health is our responsibility, our relationship is our responsibility, our financial situation is our responsibility, and that can taking that responsibility can only lead to well-being and thriving. That's where we want to take everyone with
yeah,
us.
yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, let's pivot a little bit and talk about this ninth area. We talk about the 8 areas around the wheel of life, and as we launch our educational online course, you will see that this 10-week course has 1 week dedicated to each of the 8 areas. But there is a sort of fundamental introduction, if you like, this ninth area,
which is the first area, really.
Which is the first area, and I'm demonstrating how good I am with numbers right now as an accountant. But yeah, and this first area, this critical area that covers everywhere, is self-leadership, conscious self-leadership, responsible leadership. And I think you're particularly passionate about this, aren't you?
Yes. So the way I look at it, so I would like to add the wheel of life. The reason why it's wheel, because it is round, right? And we've got this, we divide it into this 8 different parts, different areas of life. If one of this area is not taken care of, the wheel is not complete. If 2 of the areas, like it only takes one to be being taken care of, and the wheel can't spin, right? Your life can't go smooth. Like life can be really quite beautiful and lived effortlessly, but only when it's taken care of, right? So the idea of will is that it spins and it goes like effortlessly, like it just rolls. But the reason why it doesn't roll, the reason why it's hard, the reason why we have to push through is because the wheel is not complete, right? So the way I look at this is we've got to build it in such a way that it's round, okay? And then when I say I am responsible for building my will, right? I am the one who is in charge of making sure that this will is round, right? Nobody else but me is responsible for taking care of all these areas of life. Therefore, it's like building a business that is working, operating fine. There's leaders, right? Business is like kind of more complex, but in life, there's one life and one person's life. Therefore, there's one person that is this main leader of all of those areas. So we call it, be chief executive of your life, right? You are the one. You are the one you'll be waiting for. It comes to my mind, but it's really quite true, because you're the one there's no savior coming, right? There's no one coming and doing it for you. It's just like you have to take the responsibility. So in that big wheel of life, there is a circle in the middle, and that's very you. That's the one who pulls all the string. That's the one who makes the decisions. That's the way to make sure things are executed. That's the one that design, because here is another part that the important thing about the parts of the course that we're preparing for you is there will be 3 parts to it. Is design, is execute, which is also build, and then is scale or elevate, right? So first you need to design, then you need to know what exactly do you want to build, how you want your life to look like. We call it barefoot living. We talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
And what does barefoot living mean to us as a name as well? And then from deciding what it is that I want to build, then I go into executing it, into building it, right? It's the same, like, so we look at the companies. Companies need to be designed, and they need to be built, and they need to be executed, and they need to be scaled and elevated. But we never look at like this about our life.
Yeah.
Our life needs to be designed, what it is that we building, then build and execute it, and then we can scale and elevate it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And being the chief executive just has to be the most exciting role, I think, in any company, because guess what? In the chief executive role, you are doing the thinking. There is no one else who does the thinking for a business. The thinking is done by the chief executive. The decisions are taken by the chief executive. And, it's an incredibly empowering role to have. And we all have it already, because we're already the chief executives of our own lives.
Yeah.
I think perhaps what we're trying to bring is a little more intention, a little more knowledge, a little bit more sort of desire and
decision
drive.
making, right? Decision making, I think, and leadership. So if you look at the companies, imagine companies being built, it's like, oh, let's just open a company, without actually saying what it is that we're building, without actually saying what our goals, where do we want to go, which direction, who are our clients, who is our that, what is our product, what is our thing. Imagine building a company based on totally not having those decisions. It's like walking in the dark, right? It's like you're going nowhere, literally. Without going somewhere, we're going nowhere. So most people approach their life without this there's no approach of this is where I'm going. That is just, oh, I am going. but where are you going,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and
It's like a lot of us don't make these decisions where we're going, and therefore we end up. So when we make decision where we're going, we have a direction in life, right? And then yes, we can change our mind, and things can change circumstances and take us a bit different direction, but it happens on the way already somewhere. So we're heading towards direction. When we don't have direction, we end up in the places that we very often don't actually desire to be, because we haven't made those decisions. Where is this I want to be?
Good. Conscious living, conscious leadership is, I think, really at the core.
That's the center. That's the you. That's the me. That's every person in the middle of their life.
Yeah, and conscious leadership of every aspect of your life as well, not just in, I want to have a great career, and so I'm going to be, the best sort of person and best leader of that role. But when I get home at night, I'm not a great dad to my kids or husband to my wife, or, I don't look after my personal finances. That's not the answer. The answer is to elevate, upskill and elevate yourself in all of the areas of the wheel of life through this conscious leadership.
Yeah, because we see a lot. People are like incredibly hardworking people, right? Like you can see someone's like, oh my God, he's just such a hardworking person. And they might be in one area of life, but on the 4 different areas, they're totally lazy. Like, we can call it lazy, or like totally not taken care of and totally not giving it anything, right? So we can have hardworking person that is actually only hardworking in one area of life. But when we take care of all areas, we will realize that every single area of life needs our attention, it needs our presence, and it needs our effort. And yeah, it's just sometimes taking a few little steps to improve. It's that they are steps, they are tools, they are amazing still tools and steps that we can take to improve it and go the quicker than wasting years and years of life.
So for this design stage, the course I mentioned was a 10-week course.
10-week or 10 parts, because people can take it in you can give it 1 week per part, or some people can do it quicker, maybe if they have more time.
Yeah, that's true. So we'll be providing a workbook with that as well. So you'll get this really professional workbook to complete, to actually design your, the answers, your path as you go through each of those 8 sections of the Wheel of Life as part of this 10-part course of design. And then you've got something physical and tangible to fill out, to review, to reflect on, to make some assessments on, perhaps to share with your partner or your family or your friends. And we found that's the most sort of impactful way of learning that
we ourselves did some self-development courses in the past couple of years, right? We attended certain things, that we've learned amazing tools from other people as well. It's not all just our knowledge, it's something that we've learned from others as well. And we find it was just beautiful to have something in front of me to work with as I go through the course materials, and then have it at the end, like as a final piece of ready to go roadmap, right? So this is what we want to do in this first course, and our core base design your life course is we want you to end it with a roadmap right in front of you in a little book, when you can just go there every single time to remind yourself where you're going and why, and what it is that you really want to build, which is amazing, incredibly helpful.
And then we'll get into the execute phase after the design phase. Now, these 10 parts, the 10 sections that we talked about, each part will have an online digital course. And obviously the handout, the workbook in front of you as well, that that will accompany this to really amplify the messaging and the planning and the designing that you will be doing as part of this. And then we get to the execution.
So the execution is the next level of leadership and execution, right? The next level of decision making, the next level of executing, which is basically the building, is basically making the decision, the conscious choices of doing this or that to achieve what we want.
And we'll be drilling into each of those 8 areas in a huge amount more detail. So looking, bringing in all sorts of learnings from books, from thought leaders, from influencers in each of those different areas, so that
and our experiences.
yeah,
I do
sure,
rely on a lot of my own experiences, to be honest, as well as others, of course. But when we lived something and really lived it with the a lot of contrast, which is a lot what we don't want, then we really, really learn what we do want and why as well. So for me, my learning was from contrast a lot. So I've been through a lot of hardship in a way that I really had to get to the point like, okay, no more, enough is enough. I don't want that anymore. I'm going this. That's what I want, right? And yeah, our expertise, I think, our strength lies in our own experiences. Plus, we have elevated and scaled with the help of other people who are experts in the field as well, in the area.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. So the execute phase is going to be more interactivity. It's going to be more workbooks, more planning, more I think engagement, proactive engagement, and it's really going to be going deep into these subjects as well that we.
I also will add to every single part of area of this because I feel energy quite a lot, and I do work with energy as well, with energy field, not just the surface field of action and what we see, but also what we don't see and what energy lies behind certain behaviors, certain patterns, certain decisions, vibration. What vibration we run through our systems and stuff like that. So with the second part of executing and building, I will definitely add a part of energy activations and shifts, which at the end of each part, I will guide you through a few minutes session when we undo certain energetic blocks, and then we bring in a different energy to support the decisions that we've made, the choices that we want to make, and the execution plan that we want to execute.
Yeah.
So it's incredibly powerful when we also add up the energy work to it.
Yeah, and they really work, by the way. And I'm brand new to this. I hadn't even heard of this before. I hadn't heard of not even the word activation, I suppose. And I've been the fortunate beneficiary of experiencing some of these activations from you myself, and they really, really do work. There is if you like, there is a level of learning that happens between the conscious and the subconscious, and I think these activations really sort of penetrate past that layer of consciousness into your myelin, into your into your learning, and it's absolutely fascinating as someone who was new to this to really understand the power and the impact. Even just lying down and closing your eyes for 5 or 10 minutes and just having a bit of guided, thinking, it's incredibly powerful. So we're going to have these, as part of our second step, aren't we? Part of the execution.
Yeah, because a lot of the time I find that a lot of the time we know what we want, but we somehow can't get there. There's something that's standing in the way and blocking us inside, and those blocks need to be looked at, and then they need to be unblocked. They need to be taken care of as well. So energetic works and activations and unblocking is incredibly powerful. I find it to be super powerful, as you know, because you saw me for going through this energetic unblocking and activations. They are quite interesting processes. Yeah,
we've even tried it on the children a couple of times as well. So it's all good. It's all good fun.
Yeah,
so.
And the third part will be scale and elevate, which is obviously upgrade, right? Because that there's nothing more constant than change in life. Everything evolves and grows, and one thing things are changing all the time. So we also are changing, and we also can grow into next level of our being, next level of our living, next level of our leadership, and anything that we next level of our well-being, right? Next level of thriving. So the part 3 will be about elevating and scaling. And in this, I think for me the very, very big part is to realize certain beliefs, certain ideas that we haven't considered yet. Yeah, we've only allowed ourselves to get to this point and we're in that point and we can't go any further for some reason, it's because our mindset, our beliefs are limited to this level of being, right? What it needs then is it's expansion of the mind, and allowing ourselves to understand the different concepts and bring into the life different concepts, different ideas, different beliefs, different thought patterns. It's just like expansion of the brain. We can expand beyond our mind, where our mind sits and lets us. There's a ceiling, like we're our own limitations, really. So there is a ceiling for which we can't bring, and the only way we can bring it is to open our mind to the next level of living.
Yeah.
And so the elevation part and scaling part we will focus a lot on expansion of the mind, and ideas, and how far we can take our life.
Yeah,
because we can take very far.
Yeah, I mean, I've spent most of my life with this incredible fixed mindset. Incredible being sort of positive and negative. But I realized that, applying this growth mindset more and more and more, looking at, intrinsic values, not just extrinsic values, examining my atomic habits. These are some of the phrases from some of the books that we've been obviously influenced by over the years, but there's a huge amount of learning beyond just our fixed mindsets that I think we can bring and guide our customers through.
It's believing what we're capable of. It's believing how far we can go. Right? Yeah. We can always stretch that. We can always stretch it. There's always the next level to anything that we do in life.
Yeah. Well, we have this catchphrase, don't we? So I'm sharing something very personal here, which is our family motto, which is this or something better.
Yeah.
And it's very simple, this or something better. We've applied it to everything, whether it's, a holiday we're fortunate enough to go on, or a experience that we have with the children, or even the house we've lived in, 3 or 4 houses now, and our approach has always been this or something better.
And it has been since we decided that this is our motto, that it has confirmed itself every single time.
Yeah, we've called it in, and
we keep upgrading and upgrading and upgrading.
Yeah, and I think if you adjust your mindset into that, continuous self-development, into that Kaizen principle, continuous self-improvement, continuous self-development, then this or something better becomes almost woven into your DNA as a way of living.
Yeah. So this is one of the tools, for example, that we're giving you today. This is something better. You can use it. You can start using it today. Tell yourself this is something better. And then when something doesn't happen that you want, so we had these houses, we remember we wanted to buy a house, and then it was agreed, and then they changed their mind and they couldn't buy it. So we were like, oh, sad. But then it's like, hey, remember this or something better, right? And there was another house that didn't happen, and something didn't happen. Anyway, every time we applied the same thing, hey, this is something better. Remember, this is something better. And you know what? It was this or something better, and then the better came, and then the better came, and so even if something doesn't happen, it seems like what you want is not happening, then you tell yourself, okay, this or something better. If this is not happening, then something better must be waiting there for. And then because we really truly believed it became a fact.
Yeah, it's a super way to, whenever you're in a fixed mindset, to totally override that with growth. Or if you've got a chimp on your shoulder, it's a great way to, to completely override that as well. So that's our sort of family motto. And we have another family motto as well, which I'm sort of pouring out my heart now as we're here, which is, I can't, therefore I must. So what does that mean? That means if you're ever up against something, or you have a thought where you are limiting your beliefs, I can't do this, or I can't do that. If you say to yourself, I can't, you have to follow that with the sentence, and therefore I must. I can't do this, and therefore I must. And that, that phrase has also inspired us, I think, over the last couple of years, where, perhaps we were thinking in the very beginning, I was, I can't quite yet understand how we can join our families together and blend our family in one place. I can't, therefore I must. And we did. We followed that through. And it can even apply to, to something, perhaps to a project at work, or to, a relational situation, or a money situation, or a learning situation. I can't, therefore I must. So it's a great motivator to overcome this sort of limiting mindset, limiting self-belief system that I think many of us have in society today. So this or something better. I can't, therefore I must. We've got a few others as well lined up for you in the learnings that we're going to be sharing with you.
Yes. So this is a little short introduction to what we guys preparing for you, and then we hope you love it, because like this is our way to give back to life, because we feel very fortunate to have what we have today. We're happy, we're healthy, we live in a lovely place. Our children are healthy and happy. You know, we have time on our hands. We really feel very grateful for everything that we have, and we feel very fortunate. So we would like, now is the time when we can give to the world, and as a return, okay, I feel really looked after, I feel taken care of. Now let me bring forth something to the world, or let me help the world to be a better place, right? Let me help others the way I've been helped.
Yeah, and this is our full-time job. So we have given up all of our careers and side hustles and anything like that to do
fully
Barefoot Living.
dedicate, fully give ourselves
Absolutely,
to this,
to the service and the contribution of you.
Yeah.
So
so we call it Barefoot Living because we are absolutely fans of being running wild, playful, like children, in the nature. We're very connected to nature. We love being surrounded by nature. We love playing, and running around bare feet. So we call it Barefoot Living because that's our way of saying this is the way I love my life. I want to be free. I don't want to be constrained. I don't be limited. I don't want to be put in a box. And I just want to enjoy my life, right? And barefoot living is our
yeah. And for me, we used to challenge each other a little bit and say, well, what does barefoot mean for you? And I think for me, when I think of the words barefoot, I think of sand and surf, and I think of forest, I think of fun, I think freedom, and even last night we were living it in real. It was a sort of early autumn evening. The sun was going down. I think we'd both had less than perfect days, designing websites and copy and arranging this and arranging that. And so we went outside, just outside here. We put a big fire on and we sat outside around the fire for an hour or two with our bare feet out, warming our bare feet on the fire. And that really, truly encapsulated for me the end state that I want every day to end with. I want every day to end with a sigh of contentment, real true feeling of contentment at the end of that day. I'm living my best life. I am elevating all my areas of the wheel of life. I am being the leader of my life. I'm making conscious choices. I'm living intentionally. I'm, representing myself in the best way I can to my partner, to my children, to my friends and family, and so forth. And so it's the little things, the evening fires, the dancing, barefoot.
Dancing bare feet, that's my thing. Yeah, that dancing bare feet, I do that.
So so we're both very excited about this barefoot living journey. As I said at the beginning, today is day 4 of our barefoot living work, and we're really excited to share this with you today on this beautiful morning.
So we see you on the other side. Hopefully you come and say hello, and hopefully you can join us on this journey, because everything that we learn in the process, we're going to share with you. We're just going to give you everything that we know, everything that we've got, because we want to take you with us, right? We don't want to go anywhere on our own. What's the point? We want to go in group and have all big party and have a great time, right? If we all have nice lives, we can go and enjoy ourselves and play all together. So we're taking everyone, all of you guys, with us. So come and join us on this lovely journey on designing, building, executing, and elevating our lives. I can't wait to meet you and can't wait to see you and speak to you. Thank you very much.